Hey guys, on today's video, we are talking about cards on the move, and there are a few of them. Let's take a look. It's coming up next. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you're somehow finding me out there in the cyber universe of YouTube, thanks a lot for taking the time to check out my content today. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and join in the fun. It's free to do, costs you nothing, and supports your local Moxman here, alright? Remember, new content 7 days a week with live streams on Sunday. Looking forward to it. Alright guys, we have some reserve list cards on the move. Some cards I thought would bring to your attention. Not all of these are going to be cards you want to jump out and buy, but it's good to know that the sales are healthy enough and that some cards are starting to settle. So without further ado, let's take a look. The first card we're going to take a look at today, going to be Fastball. Now, from what you can see in Fastball, this card has risen a lot from way back in the days of April of 18. Now, when you see that, you see it's going for like $17 US. Then around October 19, it was hitting as high as 31 bucks. At the beginning of the buyout, it was hitting around that $32 mark. Now, it has peaked as high as 80. But when I actually investigated that and looked into the sales, a lot of that was slabbed copies of BGS, PSA cards. So really this card is selling around the $50 US mark with strong sales showing it's continuing to grow. Even though it has a limited market appeal, this card has a lot of nostalgic history for a lot of people and it will continue to grow. So when you think about Fastball, yes, it is settling right now. You can get them cheaper on eBay for around that $36 mark, $40 mark, sometimes even lower if you just need a copy for a collection or a copy for a particular deck. So you can find that card cheaper right now if it's something you're after. Now the next card I want to hit you guys up on is going to be Ali of Cairo. Now Ali of Cairo, as far back as January, was still only sitting around 325 bucks. He'd been there for about 2 years. But recently, just into the February-March area of 2021, you can see he's jumped up to about the $700 mark. Again, you see some spikes there of that $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 mark. Those are slabbed copies. Do not fall for that stuff. Look at that settling that happens in around the April area, and you'll see it settles at around $700 US, and you can find some cheaper on eBay and TCG Player. But they're going to be moderately played copies. They're going to be kind of, beat up a little bit. But it's Ali, and he is from Arabian Nights. Look what we're talking about here. You're talking about a really old card. The guy's got a cool mustache. And he saved my life so many times by not letting me go below 1 life. I can see why Ali of Cairo is definitely a mover and shaker. For a card of that age, he deserves that respect. And he will go up. Okay, he's not reaching that $1,500. That seems way out of whack to me. But I can see him reaching $1,000 in the not too distant future just based on the sheer age of the card, okay? Now, the next one we're going to take a look at today is going to be a fun fan favorite of this channel. We're going to talk Brain Geyser. Now, Brain Geyser was as low as like 22 bucks. I mean, even a little bit lower in some cases for beat up copies. But near mint was around $22 at the start of our buyout here. Now, when you see it jump into January 2021, you see it starting to go along. It starts etching up. Right there between January and February, it reached as high as $100. It really didn't. I know this is like a trick thing again. You can see from the algorithm, that's what it says it went to. After a nice in-depth investigation into what's going on, it never got that close, okay? You can buy them on eBay right now for 36 bucks. It really settled around 50 for a near mint copy. And you can still find limited copies for a reasonable price considering the age of the card. Now, it is very nostalgic, and it has been brought to my attention. Yeah, there's some similar or better versions of that card out there. But it's an epic card that we knew from our teen years. Still plays well. It's a single player. You can make your opponent draw. You can draw. It has uses. And, again, it's never coming back. So I can see this card settling around that 150 mark in about that 12 to 14 month period. For near mint copies. So, good for you. Awesome card. Brain Geyser, you hang in there. And stop exposing your brain to everyone. We've seen enough. Now, the next card we are going to talk about. Oh, look at that. I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead and showed you Brain Geyser again. That was a mistake. We're jumping to Spectral Guardian. Now, with Spectral Guardian, I got to be honest. We talked about this just a week ago. If you look back on the actual price history, this card actually was as low as $2. Come on, protecting your artifacts is worth more than $2. Now, It's reached actually as high as $10 right now, and a lot of the copies on eBay are around the $10 mark. I told you guys when it was around the $5-6. It looks like me mentioning it on this channel has resulted in a bit of a spike, but tough for everybody else. The card was underpriced and people needed to know about it. And you can see some daily changes, weekly changes. It has jumped up a lot, but that's just because it's finally being recognized by people who understand the goodness of that card. I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking Spectral Guardian. The cards on this list, when you go back and look at Brain Geyser, these cards are good cards. When you talk about reserve list, for those who don't like reserve lists, tough. It's here to stay. The reserve list is not going anywhere. It deserves to be where it is. Spectral Guardian is like a weaker version of Guardian Beast, but I'll take it any day of the week to augment what I've got. I have people texting me as we speak. I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to cut this one short because this is some good stuff we're talking about. Now, the last card I want to talk about is a little bit of a heavy hitter, but again, it has a bit of a story to it. So when we take a look here at Library of Alexandria, you can look back all the way back November, December, around the 2000 mark. Now, that's for a near mint copy. That's not what we're talking about. Most copies you're going to find for old Arabian Nights cards are not going to be near mint. They're very hard to find in that kind of condition, unless you actually happen to get one from an opened pack. You can see my circled areas across the whole video, because those are areas I focused in on to see what was going on. Now, you see that spike there? After the 2000, you're going to see the 4000 with a nice circle around it. High is like $10,000. Those are slabbed copies. Again, it's like people think, oh, it's worth $10,000. It's not, okay? It does mean it's not going to get there, but it's not there yet. When I take a look at that and I see Library of Alexandria sitting there at $4,000, I'm telling you, it is something to be respected. It is an amazing card. A lot of people consider it part of the power line, right? Between that and Time Vault, really sitting in there in the high echelon. But when I looked on eBay, TCG Player, and locally, okay, locally I couldn't find any. I'll be honest. I looked locally. I couldn't get any from there. And the pricing, they were buying them for around $1,800. For near mint copies, which means they'll sell for like $3,600. So the 4,000 mark seems to be a good settling point for this card right now. Considering what it was at and what it's gone to, you've noticed a lot of these cards have doubled in value. A nice solid double with a price rematch. Now, some people ask me, where do I see these cards going? They're going up. That's the simplest answer I can give you. Even when they settle now, even if there's a retracement, it's not going that low. You're not going to get that luck again. These cards are on the move for a reason. They were all undervalued, slowly being picked apart over the years by bigger whales with bigger wallets. But when they all did that dump a year ago, when the crisis first started, a lot of players started buying some of these up because they were very underpriced. So that underpricement has allowed a lot of players, including myself, to get a larger assortment of reserve list products. I'll be bringing you some more movers and shakers later this week. I wanted people to be aware of it, so make sure you smash that subscribe button, join in this fun, because this channel is here to stay, and we're going to have a party as soon as we get to 5,000 subscribers. Thanks for tuning in. This is MTG Mox, man. Have a great one, guys. I will see you right after I click all these people's little text things off from people doing today's video from yesterday and the other day. All right? It keeps happening. What can I see? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. What, you guys are still here? That's right. Bonus card time. You saw that little yellow thing in the thumbnail that said there was a bonus. I want to talk about one more card, guys. Just a little something to let people know. We're talking Lake of the Dead. Now, Lake of the Dead, when you look back in January, February, this card was as low as $100 still, as high as $200 on the uptake, depending on the condition and where it was being shipped from. Now, it hit the high of $400. That was for a couple of slab copies that got sold. But when you see that downtrend, it is settling around $300. People are trying to push it to $315, $340, but it looks like it's going to stay around the $300 mark for a while. The sales are all staying kind of consistently in that area. So it looks like this Alliance card is finally settling to where it should be. So I'm going to confidently say this card's going to stay at $300. It deserves to be $500, but it's not going to get there for a while by the look of it. I wanted to make sure that everyone out there was aware that this card, it's not going to go there yet, but that's where it's destined to be. This card is a killer, man. It's amazing, well loved, and there's so many uses when you put it in the proper deck. So, Lake of the Dead is definitely a card to keep your eye on, and it's the bonus card today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again. That's right, I'm tuning off now. I'm done. I'm done with you. At least for 12 hours till I see you all again. Scary, right? Have a great one.